What up? Welcome to halftime, which makes it Tully time. Right here, KFAN via Twitter, Facebook Live as well. I'm Nordo from 9 to noon. Joining me, AJ Mansour, KFAN.com. Initials champion, whatever weight class he's currently in. He has the belt for it. But thanks to Tullamore Dew. And it's Tully time, halftime. I just watched the Vikings run out the clock at 7-6 at halftime. AJ, this is one of those games, man, where kind of a different feel at Soldier Field so far. I haven't felt that the Vikings have been at any time out of control of this game. I haven't felt them, whether it be, outside of the mistakes, I should say, not have an ability to assert their will. Methodical offense. They've made defensive stops in the right places, but they can't get out of their own way with those aforementioned mistakes and sloppy play, a couple of turnovers, and that potential 6 to 10 point swing that just took place before half. That's frustrating, right?
Yeah, you said methodical play calling. That's exactly what it is right there. And it does have them feeling, or have us feeling like they're in control of this game, minus some explosive defensive outputs for the Chicago Bears. So, it's been interesting. We saw a lot of blustery, windy, rainy games throughout the NFL this last weekend. And this is playing out like one of them, but I don't think the weather is the factor. It's chilly, but it's not windy. It's not crazy. It's not rainy. The way that the game is just playing, the ebbs and the flows, the turnovers that have factored in, the back and forth in that sense has just kind of made it a trudging game so far. The one thing that we could maybe be worried about is we have talked, Nordo, on Vikings Overtime. The Vikings, through this little win streak that they have going on, one of the things that they've carried on and to have in common in those games is no turnovers. And we've already seen 2 turnovers, a fumble, which a lot of people thought was questionable, and then that bad interception, which was, I'm going to put that one on Thielen, bobbled the ball and right into Khalil Mack's hands. 2 turnovers in the first half. That doesn't bode well for the way that this team plays, but they're still leading 7-6 at halftime.
Yeah, and maybe this is how it's supposed to be, where this Bears defense, certainly formidable, the type of defense you could win a championship with if you had and maybe even a halfway NFL caliber offense. The Bears at this stage do not. And so, futility versus futility, their offense, our defense, and our strong suit on the offensive side of things versus their advantage defensively. I'm loving the Dalvin Cook, Akeem Hicks thing. One benefit without fans and stadiums is the ability, and I understand they're not going to give you the full unrated version of what's happening down there, but the conversations that are taking place are incredibly compelling. Akeem Hicks versus Dalvin Cook. I think it was Kyle Fuller and Justin Jefferson getting after it after he moved the chains on a catch. Clearly 2 teams. One feels like their season is fading in the Bears. The Vikings trying to continue this positivity they've had the last couple of weeks. Both these teams are on a string, and they're trying to pull it as hard as they can.
Oh, they certainly are. I saw you mention it on social media. I mentioned it too. It's been fun to kind of see this back and forth. It shows, with 2 teams, the Bears' record isn't that bad, but they're, like you said, they're fading. And the Vikings are trying to fight their way back into contention. But you have 2 teams that are sort of out of contention if you look for the long play, and they're fully engaged tonight. Whether it be Monday night, whether it be the division battle, 2 teams that are familiar with each other. Obviously, we know weird things happen in this rivalry, but they're engaged and they're going at it. And it does give me some concern because I guess on both sides of the football here, you have a game that might go into the hands of the quarterback on one side or the other. And those quarterbacks are not going to play in that game. They're not going to be intense. They're not going to be in the face. They're not going to be talking smack. They're the more reserved ones. Call it even-keeled, level-headed, whatever it is. They're not going to be the ones to jump into that. Is that a good thing? Is that a bad thing? We'll have to see. But it is an interesting dynamic that we've seen and we've heard, like you mentioned, because there's no fans in the stadium.
Hey, big thanks to Tullamore Dew, TullamoreDew.com, or follow them on social media, Tullamore Dew via Twitter. And actually, after I'm done talking with you, AJ, we did record earlier this afternoon. My friend Jillian, a brand ambassador, Jillian Murphy of Tullamore Dew. I'm going to mix a couple of fresh cocktails in the kitchen. Excited to do that. I just get it. Dan Chisena. I know you're a rookie, and I know that you're like a track star. You run really fast, and I hope your future is bright. What I saw down there with the punt and catching it at the goal line, not batting it back into play, but just not knowing where your heels were, that was frustrating. The fumble, as you mentioned, is just – it's a weird – this is the supernatural side of it, and we're very melodramatic 9 to noon, very emotional, so we use a lot of hyperbole. The supernatural nature of things happening at Soldier Field would be Kyle Rudolph and the first lost fumble of his entire career for a team, as you said, AJ. All 3 victories, no turnovers in any of those wins. And so now if the Vikings are going to win 3 in a row, they got to deviate from that trend. Adam Thielen. Adam Thielen's made like 5 mistakes in his entire NFL career, but when he does them, they are bleep-ups for size, might you say. Fumbles against the Saints in 2018 as the Vikings are looking to extend their first half lead. That goes the wrong direction, and Kirk throws a pick 6 to P.J. Williams later in the game. Things get ugly after that. The muffed punt against Dallas in 2016. Adam Thielen does everything so amazing, including that 17-yard catch, that when he does make a mistake, it's so rare, but sometimes it can be disastrous. So we need that to go differently in the second half. What are maybe a couple of things maybe we can share back and forth, some things that we need to see, or at least as Rubes and fans and people that watch this team that we want to see for them to come out and get a W here as the Bears are set to receive to start the third quarter?
Yeah, I'm also the most obvious one is Dalvin Cook to start getting cooking. I mean, obviously the Vikings have a focal point on Dalvin Cook. He's probably touched the ball on 60% of their plays so far, whether it be on the ground or through the air. But we got to get him breaking off something. It's been solid. He's had a 6-yard gain here, it's first down catch there. But getting him going is going to be something that will open up the rest of this offense for the Minnesota Vikings. So that's the first one for me. Nordo, how about yourself?
Yeah, for me, I think Kirk needs to continue exactly what he's doing, but just take 1 or 2 shots in the second half. For me, it's been a consistent theme 9 to noon for the week. No one is I guess most people wouldn't be surprised to hear I'm a little bit down on Kirk right now and just how the 2020 has played out and what that means for the future. But in the here and now, winning games with Kirk, everything that Kirk has done so far tonight has been fantastic. And what you're seeing from the Bears when they play that 2-deep coverage, similarly to how the Vikings play, he's found Kyle Rudolph. Let's see that he doesn't fumble next time. Justin Jefferson, Chad Beebe had a catch to move the change. Thielen has, of course, been active early and often as well. So finding those things that work, I just feel that based on what you're saying, AJ, getting Dalvin moving, I think that's going to continue to be a problem, which means if you want to get that working, you're going to have to stretch it out a little bit. He made one deep attempt to Jefferson, well played by Eddie Jackson. So can we get that part of it? Be explosive, find something down the field, and I think that's going to be really positive and lead to some success for the Purple.
Yeah, one final thing I'll give you. Eric Kendricks is only having a quiet game so far. We've seen the stars on defense for the Chicago Bears. We've seen the young guys up front for the Minnesota Vikings, Harrison Smith on the back end doing some good things. That's not to say Kendricks is playing bad, but this is the kind of stage where we need to see him shine. We need to see him do the things that we've become used to with him out there. So having him get out there and really have and carry that is going to be something that this team needs if they're going to continue to stymie this offense in the second half.
Yeah, I like that. I've seen so far, and again, it's never been out of the grasp of control for the Vikings. So defensively, I really like how Chris Boyd has busted up a couple of wide receiver screens tonight. He's been successful and physical up there up front against these wide receivers. You haven't seen anything explosive from Allen Robinson. Anthony Miller, I think, was left uncovered. That's kind of the lone defensive play that I'm pretty disappointed in. That was on that final drive that the Bears had with that field goal. Other than that, stiffening in the red zone, that's been a positive for the Vikings all season. They did it. It's led to 2 field goals, so that's cool. Let's keep pressuring Nick Foles. Hercules Mataafa, I don't know what's in his coffee, but he's been absolutely energetic and a spark tonight. Eric Wilson, the other Eric in the linebacking core, has been effective at times. I think he may have been credited with a half sack there or so. and then Troy Dye. So what the linebackers are doing in lieu of this pass rush, who can't beat up on this super injured and COVID riddled offensive line, the linebackers I think have been pretty damn good. So let's keep that pressure on Foles, and let's cheers. Well, I will. You don't have to. It's all good, AJ. But Tullamore Dew Irish Whiskey. We are in the city of Chicago tonight. The Vikings are a beautiful place to enjoy Tullamore Dew. Thank you so much for bringing this. Halftime becomes Tully time. Thanks to Tullamore Dew. Thanks for hanging out with me, AJ.
Absolutely, man. We'll see you later.
Absolutely. And then I'll be doing Fan Line after the game. And so make sure to tune in to KFAN 100.3 FM for that. Also available on the free iHeartRadio app. So download it and listen. But let's get to Jillian Murphy, one of my new favorite people, brand ambassador for Tullamore Dew. Every week, Monday, we get together and we mix some cocktails and we enjoy some Tullamore Dew together. Guess where she's at, actually? The city of Chicago. So let's mix some drinks, enjoy Tullamore Dew responsibly, and cheers to the second half of Vikings and Bears coming up soon on your home for Vikings football, The Fan. Hey, Jillian, and thanks for watching on social media. Cheers. Hey, how you doing, Jillian?
I'm great. How are you? Nice to see you.
Oh, I couldn't be better. It's halftime, Vikings and Bears. And halftime these days, you know it, Jillian, halftime becomes Tully time. Thank you so much to Tullamore Dew, delicious Irish whiskey. Find out more by going to tullamoredew.com, at Tullamore Dew via Twitter and social media. Just remind everybody at home what it is you do for Tullamore, Jillian.
So my name is Jillian Murphy, and I am the East Region brand ambassador for Tullamore Dew. So I go around drinking the good stuff and spreading the good word.
And what city do you currently reside in?
I'm in Chicago, so I know things are a bit tense between you and I today. But listen, as I told you before, I stay out of the American football drama and I stick to my Irish football. I find I have a lot more friends that way.
Yeah, what is it? Is it Cork? Is that Gaelic League football?
Yeah, so I would support County Cork, exactly. Dead right. Or County Offaly, where Tullamore Dew is made. I have an affinity for there too.
So we're going to be making some drinks this evening, and I'm excited to do it. But I must ask you this. So you're Irish born, Irish raised, now you live in Chicago. Do you ever find it obnoxious when here in America, we've kind of hijacked your holiday? We hijack your music, we hijack your toasts, and we drink green beer, we do all these things. Of course, Tullamore Dew typically in the mix as well. Does it ever annoy you? You're like, come on, this is our day.
No, imitation is the biggest form of flattery. I will say though, when I first moved to the US, I was very surprised at how far you guys had amped up the St. Patrick's Day celebrations. It's a religious holiday in Ireland. And up until 1979, you couldn't even drink alcohol on St. Patrick's Day. So when I came here, I saw the parades, I saw them dye the river green. I thought I could find a place that I could call home here. So that's why I stayed.
I love it. Hey, one more thing before we get to break. So Tullamore Dew, get to drinks, I should say. Tullamore Dew, Irish whiskey. I guess, in the pantheon or the broad spectrum, there are bourbons everywhere. We've seen the bourbon industry in the United States as old and established as it is. Now it's becoming almost like a craft or a cottage industry. You're seeing more local distilleries and things jumping into the mix. But Tullamore, one of the old standards, of course, globally. What makes Tullamore Dew and Irish whiskey really Irish whiskey?
So, great question, and I see you mentioned bourbon. We like to think that the Irish were the inventors of whiskey. So there's a bit of rivalry between the Irish people and the Scots people, but we like to think that we showed the Americans how to do it, and that's why you have good bourbon today. Tullamore Dew, in its essence, is a blend of all three styles of Irish whiskey. So you've got every single style of Irish whiskey in there: grain whiskey, malt whiskey, and pot still whiskey. And we're one of the only Irish whiskies to have the three styles. So you could say we're the most Irish of them all.
I love it. I love it. So it's drinking time. Halftime is Tully time, which means Tullamore Dew, which means cocktails. This is really an opportunity for me to pretend I know what I'm doing in the kitchen. And you, as the mix master, what are you making tonight?
So I figured today, given the game and the tensions and the stakes are very high, I thought we could all do with a nice cup of calming tea. So I'm going to make you a tea cocktail today. So I've gotten here some Irish breakfast tea, which I've had brewing for about 10-15 minutes, so it's nice and strong. I've got my trusted ice-filled shaker here, and this is a simple one, and it's good for people who are not coffee drinkers. It's a nice kind of caffeine drink without the coffee. So I'm going to go ahead and put 2 parts of Tullamore Dew right into my shaker, which, as I said, is filled with ice. Then I'm going to put 1.5 parts of that Irish breakfast tea in there. And most grocery stores will have like an international aisle where you can find this, but if not, you can just use any old black tea, like Lipton's will work. I just like to do it nice and authentically myself. And then I'm going to put 0.75 or 3/4 of an ounce of lemon juice in there. So it's actually, this is kind of like a spiced iced tea.
Ooh, I love it.
And it goes. And then last but not least, we've got the simple syrup, which is just equal parts sugar and water. 3/4 of an ounce of that as well. That's for our sweetness. If you like it a bit more sweet, you can always add more in. And then I'll put on my shaker lid and do the best part, just shake it. I love it. You've got a little dance for me. But it's always nice to watch someone shake face. So we'll be watching yours if you're shaking something up. And then we'll pour it in there. Got that nice dark tea flavor because I've been brewing it for a few minutes.
Oh, look at that.
I got my shaker everywhere. And I'm going to garnish it with a lemon wedge. So there you go. You got your spiked iced tea.
That looks delicious. Holy cow. Well, I don't know if I can upstage that because you are the mix master.
Well, you've got a great setup, so it looks good.
Here's what I'm doing. So with this Vikings game tonight, playing the Chicago Bears at Soldier Field, there are some hot and cold vibes that I get emotionally. I'm very compelled by this football team. I want them to win every game. And I love Tullamore Dew. And I enjoy getting to see you every Monday night. So I figured I'm going to make 2 drinks tonight. And I'm going to start, yes, indeed. Multi-talented, you could say.
You're showing off now.
All right. Oven preheated for the kids' dinner, and I got my second drink underway on the stove. Here's what I'm going to do for you. The Shamrock Shake. Now, this one is easy. Oh, yeah. We'll start with the cold side of things before we heat it up. Now, I'm probably the only person on the planet that doesn't really love or crave ice cream. However, ice cream and Tullamore Dew seems like a Hall & Oates perfect combo type of situation. Now, this one's easy. Full disclosure, I've never used this blender before, so hopefully I know how to use it. Simply enough, Shamrock Shake. We're going to start with this. This is a $65 ice cream scoop courtesy of Cutco. Not sure why it's $65, but we're going to do 3 scoops of mint chocolate chip Kemp's ice cream.
This looks like a good dessert drink too.
Oh, absolutely. Okay. Scoop number 2.
You're making me hungry.
Scoop number 3. All right. Kemp's out of the way. Ice cream scoop down. Secondly, 3/4 of an ounce of vanilla syrup. And for conversion purposes, i.e. I Googled this about a half hour ago, it's 1.5 tablespoons. Pour the vanilla syrup in there. Next, the secret ingredient. It is Tullamore Dew. I'm a 2 parts guy every time. Just feels right.
Nice healthy measurement.
Yeah, absolutely. Do what feels right. It's your house. It's your kitchen. You're doing it safely. It's all good. Tullamore Dew, 2 parts. Now, here's where everybody hides, okay? Top on, power on.
Okay.
Let's go. Shake that thing. All right.
Nice green color.
Look at that. Talk about St. Patty's Day and hijacking your holiday. I got a Shamrock Shake right here.
I love it.
Let's see if I mixed it well enough. Certainly did not. But that's okay. You can do it better than me at your house. Now, given my lack of adequate glassware, the presentation is certainly substandard. But the key to this, at the end,
oh my God.
a little Ready Whip.
Yum.
Good times for everybody at Shamrock Shake. Now, the other treat that I have for you. I'm feeling cold. Now I'm feeling hot, right? So I need something warm. I need something. A hot toddy with Tullamore Dew.
One of my favorite drinks, a classic.
Absolutely. So, before I add this, as I said, I'm a 2-parts guy. Vikings glass clear mug. Tullamore Dew. 2 parts.
You're going to do me out of a job, Nordo. This looks great.
This is mixology for dummies or something like that. You are the expert, I am the novice. That's okay. I know my role in life. So 2 parts of delicious Tullamore Dew. Then, while I was making the previous drink, I was preparing hot water on the kettle.
Uh-huh. Multitasking.
Where is it? Ah, yes. I'm a big peach tea guy myself, but your favorite flavor of tea ought to do. The Tullamore Dew is the winner. Put that in there. Honey to taste. Whether you have a cold or just need to warm up during Vikings Bears, your hot toddy is here to the rescue. How about that?
That was awesome. Slotcha. Cheers. Well done.
Hey, cheers to you. Cheers to Tullamore Dew. And how about we do this again next Monday? Holy cats.
I love it. Some extra guests. Definitely. Let's do it again next week.
My
And hopefully
daughters
we're
heard
celebrating.
about ice cream and they decided to run down. Thanks for hanging out with me tonight.
Cheers. Thanks, Nordo.
How do we find Tullamore Dew?
You can find all the recipes and places to buy on tullamoredew.com.
Absolutely. Jillian Murphy, thank you so much. Brand Ambassador Tullamore Dew. I'm Nordo from 9 to noon in the fan. At Tullamore Dew via Twitter, tullamoredew.com. Enjoy it responsibly, whether you're feeling hot or you're feeling cold. Now back to the second half. Vikings and Bears. You're home for Vikings football, the fan.